What's good, everybody? It's Robo back with another video, and today I'm bringing you a free agency update to my 2025 NFL first round mock draft. I'll be going over my choices for the first 32 picks of this year's draft after seeing some of the moves in free agency and of course the NFL Combine. This is just my current opinion, and I'll have a deeper mock draft up before the real draft in the near future, so stay tuned on the lookout for that. But that's all I have for the intro, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the video. There's a few directions the Titans could go here with number one, but the way they set up the offensive line of free agency, I think that means the pick will be Cam Ward. Of course, guys like Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter will be options up until the pick is in, but with how hard it is to select at the top of the draft in the NFL when there's other bad teams going for it too, I think you have to take advantage of the opportunity when it's there unless you know they aren't your guy. And I like Cam Ward for the Titans' future, and I think the Titans do too, and grab him here with pick one.
Throw the football over your head. Don't give him a cheap one here at the end of the first. Shot down the sideline. Ward, another one-on-one. Drops it over. Ward, seemingly always at the ready. Look at him extending the play, and now downfield.
The Browns are in a similar boat as the Titans, needing a quarterback, but with other needs as well. But with the interest they have in Russell Wilson, as well as the trade for Kenny Pickett, I think they grab newly re-signed Myles Garrett, a partner edge rusher, and Abdul Carter with pick two. Shedeur and Travis are obvious candidates to go here as well, but Carter does make sense to me in this spot, and I definitely could see a scenario where they told Garrett they'd get him a veteran quarterback and some more help on that D-line along with the big payday to drop the trade request. So right now, I'm feeling Carter at 2 for the Browns.
Left shoulder that's giving him fits. If you line him up on the quarterback.
I have the Giants grabbing quarterback of the future here in Shedeur Sanders. Originally, I thought this would be a perfect landing spot for Travis Hunter, assuming the Giants added a veteran quarterback, but with the options limited down to pretty much Aaron Rodgers in the NFL draft, I think Rodgers opts to go elsewhere, and the Giants settle in on taking Shedeur Sanders, who fits their timeline obviously way better than Rodgers does anyways. I think Sanders could be a great NFL quarterback if he improves his decision-making and pocket presence, because the accuracy is best in the class to me, which can be really valuable.
End zone, top side. One hand of opener comes down to this play. Sanders gets the feet set toward the end zone for the game. It is! Show him blitz. Sanders, free play down the sideline.
The Patriots walk into a layup line pick here for me with Travis Hunter still on the board, grabbing Drake May a weapon while simultaneously grabbing another corner to add alongside Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. If Hunter's the pick here, it'll be interesting to see how they use him on both sides of the ball. Early on, I think receiver might be the more important addition for the Pats, but letting Hunter grow behind those two corners for a couple seasons is such an ideal situation as well, so I think New England could be a place he really shines one day.
Guns it. Sanders in a pocket. Out! Throwing a no-hitter. Sanders has Hunter open. They just get it off into the end zone.
At number 5, I think the Jaguars go best available, and in my opinion, that's Mason Graham out of Michigan. He's an incredibly rare defensive tackle talent with some freaky movement ability and play strength. Just absolutely unblockable, and a major reason why Michigan was so dominant in recent years and took down Ohio State again despite a clear talent gap this past season. I could also see the Jags looking at Will Johnson or even Ted McMillan here, but I think Mason Graham makes a ton of sense to help improve that defense drastically.
Moss sets up and goes down.
Week, but not so much today.
Hauser's going to kick. Bond to the left.
I've got Ashton Jeanty coming off the board early here at pick 6 of the Oakland Raiders. Others have this mock too, and I think it does make sense as they just added Geno Smith and clearly want to turn things around quickly with Pete Carroll. Jeanty could be his next Marshawn Lynch, and obviously is a big upgrade from what they have right now. Along with Bowers and an obvious quarterback upgrade, this type of back could really jumpstart their offense again and make life a little bit easier for Raiders fans in 2025.
An unreal talent, and there he goes. Jeanty!
2nd and 7, Jeanty breaks through, and Jeanty to the 40.
Jeanty, his first touch. And typical Ashton Jeanty. Look at him go! You can't bring him down!
The Jets are up at pick 7, and I think there's a chance they look to add a weapon here for the newly signed Justin Fields, but I think they opt for a more important need to me, which is the trenches, adding arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft in LSU's Will Campbell. He's got positional flexibility as a standout tackle, with some belief that he could be even better at guard, and he can slot in really well just for about anyone. He was a huge part of the protection that helped Jaden Daniels win a Heisman and had another incredible year as LSU's leader this season despite a lesser season as a group. And I think the Jets would be giving their next quarterback a really strong addition on that line here. At 8, I still have the Panthers passing on adding a weapon for Bryce Young and going edge rusher with Georgia's Jalon Walker. I personally absolutely love Walker. I think he's a surefire top 10 pick in this class, and the Panthers really need a boost on that defensive line and in the pass rush. He's got incredible potential and already can be a year one impact guy for Carolina, and there are obviously other ways to address the needs on the offensive side of the ball to help it look like a much improved Bryce Young in year 3, so I think they go with defense on this pick. Again, I have the Saints taking Ted McMillan here, adding a big weapon to a pretty desperate offense. With all the concussion and injury problems we've seen out of Olave, I think McMillan's a great fit here. Not only does he blend well with a healthy Olave, but I think he's got a chance to be the number 1 guy here. We'll see what the plan is in the future, but for now, the Saints need to help Derek Carr out, and I think Kellen Moore opts for maybe the best receiver in the draft here at pick 9.
Pick up the blitz. Fifita launches to the end zone. Protecting Fifita on first down. Quick pop, McMillan turns the corner, loses his defender. Now he's off to the races. McMillan.
I think the Bears have done a really good job setting up their offensive line of free agency so far, and their clear biggest needs remaining in this offseason is on the edge and in the backfield. But with Genty already gone, I'm not so sure they'll jump at Armani and Hampton at 10, so I've got him taking Georgia's Michael Williams here. He's young and can bring a ton of firepower to Chicago's defense. I think he's got great technique and quickness already, on top of a very big frame that made it so hard for college linemen to keep him in front. He's also flashed some elite run recognition as well, blowing up plays in the backfield throughout his college career. The 49ers have lost a ton this offseason, so I think the retool starts by grabbing a potential top 5 talent in the class still on the board in cornerback Will Johnson out of Michigan. I truly believe Johnson is an instant impact shutdown corner. He's one of my favorite defensive back prospects in quite some time, and the recent slip in mock drafts confused me a bit. I get the injury concerns and maybe some athleticism questions, but the dude's an absolute ball hawk who has dominated his entire college career. There really aren't any legitimate questions about Will Johnson's game on tape. He's got size, ball skills, elite technique, and incredible game tape overall, and could end up a superstar in San Fran who really needs a corner as well.
Concentration to regroup and get that left arm.
Play fake, McCord underneath, intercepted. Michigan, Will Johnson jumped the route.
I think the Cowboys should address the trenches in round 1. Either side of the ball, honestly, but I think a guy as flexible as Armand Membu would be a good pick here. He had an incredible combine and moved up the round 1 board quite a bit. Getting Dak Prescott more protection to stay healthy is more important to me than adding a weapon to pair with CD, especially when they're as athletic and talented as Membu, and he can really fit in at either guard or tackle spot on the offensive line for them. The Dolphins still have a needed offensive line, and looking at their free agency additions, I think defense is a bit less important in this spot, so they opt for Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas instead. One of the best tackles in the class, and definitely a top 15 pick to me. He can instantly help improve that offense and give Tua a better chance of performing at a higher level next season, something the Dolphins really need to see him do. Tyler Warren's my pick for the Colts at 14. He's an older prospect, but an exceptional one after putting up an incredible season at Penn State this year. Basically carrying that offense at times and being the focal point of a playoff team. He's got good hands, he's great after the catch, and was basically always open for Penn State, even when focused on by the defense. I think he's going to be an incredible weapon for that Colts offense as they go all in on giving both Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones one more shot at proving they're worthy of being a starting quarterback in the league.
Shovel, Tyler Warren. And Warren taking Gophers with him for a first down and more. Warren, direct snap here. He's going to run it all the way behind a tight end block, and here he goes. Tyler Warren. He's going to take it to the end zone.
I think the Falcons' biggest need this offseason is still on the edge, and Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M can be a big help there and has great upside. Stewart's another incredible athlete with all the tools to be a great pass rusher at the next level, and there's actually a chance he goes even earlier than 15 here. Upside is such a large part of how NFL teams draft, and Stewart fits right into that mold. He had lower production in college, but the athleticism is absolutely freakish. Pretty comparable to a Myles Garrett, actually, but obviously with a massive difference in production.
9 in Texas A&M territory. Bazelak in trouble. Down he goes. 3rd and 12. They go with the inside screen to DK.
Another tackle comes off the board here at 16 with Josh Simmons going to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals still have some key defensive needs, but the offense has to improve, especially the line, which is so important for Kyler Murray having success. They've already got Paris Johnson Jr. at the left tackle, but I have a need on the other side, and I think Simmons will be a pretty solid upgrade for them. He's got pretty exceptional tape after a dominant year for the Buckeyes before the injury, and could be a step in the right direction for that offense. The Bengals have a glaring need at edge now with the Hendrickson trade looming, and I love Mike Green here for them. He's probably the biggest riser of the Senior Bowl. I thought he was already a first-round lock beforehand, but he absolutely shot up the board with a great week there. I think it's super realistic he ends up in Cincinnati if he's still on the board for them here. Again, with Trey Hendrickson's trade request looming and a lesser pass rush anyways, I see no other option for the Bengals draft choice other than edge. And Green could genuinely end up being the best in the draft.
3rd and 19 at the 39. Howard in trouble. And Howard up.
Here we go right here. And then watch his spin move back to the inside. Gus right there, or outside, excuse me. Terrific spin.
The Seahawks could definitely target a few needs here, including defense, considering McDonald's a defensive-minded coach. And originally, I thought this would be a receiver, but after the Cooper Kupp signing, I've swapped his pick back to Tyler Booker out of Alabama. I think rebuilding an offense around newly acquired Sam Darnold is the obvious choice here. I think Booker's one of the best interior linemen in the draft, and not only was an O-line a major need prior to the Kupp signing, but now an even bigger priority. So Seattle should take him here at 18.
8th play of this opening drive. It's a keeper. Milroe follows the back. Milroe explodes.
The Bucs definitely could be targeting a receiver soon with Evans aging, but after the Godwin extension, I think prioritizing the defense is a much better move to me. Levante David's back, but he's nearing retirement and could use some more youth there anyways. And Alabama's Jihad Campbell is definitely a first-round worthy linebacker to me. He had a great combine and stands out on tape in a big way and could be an instant starter in that Tampa room.
The nation was reminded.
Three-man rush. Beck surveys, throws it right to Alabama. It's picked up by Jihad Campbell.
The Broncos added Evan Ingram to the offense, which knocks tight end off as a major need, so I think they go another weapon route here and take Luther Burden 20th. Getting Bo Nix more help in the wide receiver room on top of the Ingram addition could drastically improve that offense, especially with the ability Burden provides with elite speed and quickness after the catch, which can pair really well with a quarterback like Nix, who loves finding guys in space and can really extend a play.
He's open. He'll take off. Throw to the end zone. Caught. On 2nd and goal, it's Burden. Out of the backfield. Luther Burden toward the end zone. They'll stretch the field to the wide side. Here's Burden, the elusive freshman. Stays on his feet. He will take it.
The Steelers lost Najee Harris this offseason to the Chargers and now have a glaring hole at both quarterback and running back. Assuming they go to the veteran route at quarterback, I don't think this pick will be Jackson Dart, but I think Omarion Hampton's heavily in play here at 21 for Pittsburgh. If they add him into an offense with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, I think they could legitimately contend in the AFC after grabbing Rodgers at quarterback. Obviously, they need to find a long-term answer at quarterback still, and I think they need to have a strong slot option to offset the redundancy of DK and GP together. But Hampton fits a big need and is an incredible back for the Steelers to add.
On 3rd down, shovel pass. Hampton here. Look at the room he has to run. Inside the 20, still on his feet. He'll score.
I've got the second tight end coming off the board here at 22 with Jim Harbaugh's Chargers adding his own former star Colson Loveland into the offense for Justin Herbert. Loveland's a legitimate star potential tight end with some elite receiving ability. He has great hands and a large catch radius. He's a good route runner and has great feel for getting open on broken plays. And again, the familiarity with Coach Harbaugh already just makes this pick make a ton of sense, especially with how big of a need that position is for them.
Loveland going up, pulling it. Green report. Oh, hello. Loveland going up. Feeling the pressure. McCarthy throws. Caught. Down the McCarthy. Throwing on 1st down. Underneath, he's got his man. It's Loveland. Turn.
The Packers could go a few ways with this pick, and obviously they've got a pretty deep receiver room already, but I think they definitely want to add more talent to that room for Jordan Love, and I love Emeka Egbuka here at 23. He could for sure be gone by now, but I think his route running, hands, and ability after the catch could make him develop into the best guy in that Green Bay receiver room. Edge is an obvious need as well, but it's a deep draft there, and I think it really just depends on who's available and they're on the clock, and I actually do think receiver is in play here for them.
You may see him right here. Play fake. They dump it down in space. And here we go. Egbuka with a lane. Emeka Egbuka down the...
The Vikings lost Cam Bynum in free agency and definitely need an upgrade in the secondary now. And after the combine that Nick Emanwari had, it wouldn't shock me if they made him the first safety drafted. Malachi Starks is an option too, but Emanwari seems like a guy who would fit perfectly in the Vikings defense. His speed, athleticism, and ball skills can help make him an elite playmaker for that defense and help make the roster stronger overall as they look towards the future of J.J. McCarthy.
Nussmeier to the end zone through a pick. Threw it right into the hands of Emanwari.
The Texans have scrapped half their offensive line, which makes this pick a serious threat to be a lineman, but adding a receiver is still an important part of their offseason plans, with Tank out and Diggs being a free agent still. So with several top linemen off the board, I've got the Texans selecting Matthew Golden over that need here. He shot up draft boards after a huge end of the season for Texas and a blazing 4.3 40-yard dash. This season for the Longhorns, he showcased that great speed, separation, burst, and route running in the process, making him one of the top receivers in this year's draft class.
What a catch!
Golden picks up right where he left off against Arizona State. One
To audible. To stay alive. Can they hook him? Touchdown!
I've got the Rams adding to the defense here with Jahdae Barron at 26. This could be a dream scenario for them here, as he's pretty widely seen as a top 20 player in the class and as high as top 10 for some. But with the needs of other teams in front of them, I think it's possible he's still here for them, and they badly could use the upgrade in the secondary. Barron was absolutely fantastic this season for Texas, shooting himself well into first-round conversations. Like I said, some think he's worthy of a top 15 selection and could impact the defense immediately.
And Talon
Pressure against Beck, who stands and delivers on the sideline. It's intercepted. Picked up by Barron. Catch back. Pressure. Now they rush for ball out quickly, and it's juggled and intercepted.
The Ravens will probably look to improve the offensive line and the defense this offseason, and I think grabbing Malachi Starks all the way down here at 27 is a no-brainer type of move. He's the type of playmaker in the secondary they could use next to Kyle Hamilton. He's a two-time All-American and a super versatile player lining up all over the secondary for Georgia. He's got size, speed, and instincts that can allow him to be one of the better safeties in the NFL in a few years, something the Ravens could really use to finally get over that hump in the AFC.
Klubnik lets it go deep, and it is intercepted.
Just Mr. Everything. Get off of there. All right, let's go back to the right, guys. Okay, I'm just going to stiff arm 3 different.
The Lions have to add defensive linemen this offseason after having a little depth last year and losing almost the entire unit to injury. Edge is the bigger need, but with Lee McNeil slated to miss half the year while he recovers, and Kenneth Grant still on the board for them here, I think he'd be an incredible pick at 28. He's a genuine freak in nature type of lineman with some crazy closing speed and a freakish size of 340 pounds. He's shown some elite pass rush traits from the inside while being a premium run stuffer, and wreaked havoc in the Big Ten, leading Michigan's defense alongside Mason Graham the past 3 years.
handed off. Carter runs right into the midst of
their opening drive before it stalled and were forced to kick. This one's going to start a little differently.
The Commanders have had an eventful offseason, adding Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil into the offense for Jaden Daniels, but the simple truth is the defense still needs some work. They added Jonathan Jones in the secondary and picked up Javon Kinlaw and Dietrich Wise, but they need a long-term answer to their edge rush problems, and I think James Pierce Jr. is a good option for them to add here at 29. I think as a player, he's fantastic and pretty underrated in terms of where he could get drafted, so we'll see if those character concerns really matter that much on draft night, but I think this pick makes a lot of sense for them.
In motion, Johnson stands and waits, and down goes. Lets off the corner. Johnson dropped the ball, and off the corner, pressure, down goes Johnson.
The Bills missed out on the Super Bowl again, mostly due to the defensive side of the ball, and this offseason will be about building that area up as well as getting Josh Allen some more firepower to make that offense even more potent. But defense wins championships, and the Bills have several needs there, and Boston College edge rusher Donovan Ezeraku fits that need for me. They did add Joey Bosa and could also use some help at corner, but I still think grabbing a young edge would be a good move. You can never have enough pass rushers, and I think veteran options are better for their secondary than trusting a rookie there with championship hopes on the line.
Hand off to Hart. Hart taken down 209 yards, 2 TDs, 2 picks. Belkamp in trouble.
The Chiefs don't really have a ton of needs, but could use some help on the offensive line after the loss of Joe Thuney. And with how good this defensive line class is, I could see them grabbing one here as well, but I've got them taking Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. They badly need an interior lineman, and Zabel has the flexibility to play all over the line. But regardless of where he goes, he's a legitimate first-round lineman talent, and I think the Chiefs could absolutely address that part of the offensive line here with this pick. I think the Eagles will draft a Milton Williams replacement here and D-tackle Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. As a former top prospect in this class, Nolan has the potential to be one of the best defenders in this class and help both shut down opposing run games and rush the passer alongside Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis in Philly. Obviously, they got so much young talent on that defense, but more depth doesn't hurt at all, and drafting a potential lineman is something Howie Roseman loves to do. and I think they'd be absolutely thrilled if Walter Nolan is somehow still on the board here for them.
Leader of that offensive front, and they get penetrated.
Enjoy the little moments. Got to enjoy the wins, or else it'll just beat you down.
The year you're there, things did not go well at Louisville, and now he's with
Miami's offense is back in action. Mark Fletcher, who's a very good.
That's it for my second first-round mock draft of the 2025 NFL Draft Class. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on the list as a whole, as well as which players are your favorite from this year's draft class. Thanks for watching as always. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.